Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier and this is Ship Updates. Now, right off the bat, of course, we got a whole lot of exposition and a lot of new art to do with the Herald on ATV this week, and along with that, we also got a lot of information from Josh Coons relative to the process of creating the Herald. Now, even though obviously this stuff is impressive to look at, we'll deal with that in a second, but during his interview on RTV, Josh Coons actually revealed some interesting information. And he was talking about the Connie variants, and he was saying that basically now that the first Connie is out of the way, the variant should be completed. I mean, he guesstimated, I guess, in 1/10 of the time, but that's not obviously a firm figure. But he did go into the things that he's going to be working on next, and next up is the Cutlass Black rework. So finally, the Cutlass Black is getting its rework, and which is just so awesome. And I mean, when I start showing the stuff about the Herald, and we'll get to that in a second, you'll see I definitely think that this ship is now definitely in the right hands. But apart from that, he revealed that after the Cutlass rework, the next ship up on his docket is the Connie Taurus, which is, of course, the base Connie, the cheapest one of them all. I think it's going for about $150 in the store right now. So that is next up to be completed. After that, it's the Phoenix. And we got a little bit of a detail. So for those of you who either want the hot tub or don't want the hot tub, I'm not too familiar with the Connie because I don't own one and I don't really play around with them. But apparently how they're going to do the hot tub, whether you want it or don't want it, is it has something to do with the dinner table. And like if you can make the dinner table retract and you then stow away or something like, stow it away and then, make it, I don't know. However it works in the Connie owners will know. You guys can put it in the comments below. But the hot tub is going to work the same way. So if you don't want a hot tub in your ship, you can, I guess, just push a button and make it disappear, and it'll just kind of retract away or fold away. I'm not sure how they're doing it. Or you can have it out in your ship. So that's just a little bit of detail. But now finally on to the Herald. Now the Herald, of course, has been a troubled ship. It has had a tough history, and you're gonna see this video up here. Of course, the audio has been removed, so I definitely think that you should be checking out ATV for the Herald segment and just kind of drinking it all in and hearing what the designers have to say about it. But I thought it would be a good time, now that we got this video up, to kind of go over a little bit of the Herald's history and why this is kind of like a big moment for a lot of people. Now, the Herald starts its story back in 2013. On November 22nd, there was a $29 million letter from the chairman. And at the bottom of the letter, you were able to vote on what ship you wanted to see developed for Star Citizen next. And one of the choices was Info Runner. Well, 4 days later, Star Citizen had already leapt all the way up to $33 million, and we got another letter from the chairman, and at that point it was named the Drake Herald. We found out it was going to be a very fast, armored, somewhat EMP-resistant ship that was going to be the information runner for the in the game. And that was pretty much all we really heard about the Herald until October 30th the next year, when during RTV, we found out this is what the Herald was going to look like when this image was slapped up on the screen, and the very next day, the Herald concept sale began. Now, the Herald, of course, was in that next belt of concept sales, including the Reclaimer, the 890 Jump, the new ships that were going to come with LTI, but only a couple of days later, because the Herald's asymmetrical look had kind of created a bit of a controversy on the forums. Some people were, not impressed with it, didn't like it. On the other hand, I liked it. I thought it was a great looking ship, and I had purchased them. But, some people obviously didn't feel the same way. And I guess Chris Roberts was one of them, and there was the second image of the Herald that came out very shortly thereafter, and it caused a bit of a controversy because people had already paid for the asymmetrical ship, and we're now seeing a symmetrical version. And people weren't too happy about that, but overall, I think people were more excited for the possibilities that the ship presented. So, some people obviously got very bent out of shape about it. I was indifferent, to be honest. One way or the other, I was just more interested in the capabilities that the ship would, kind of confer on the player. Now, going forward till April 6th of 2015 is when we finally got confirmation that the Herald was going to be a symmetrical ship now, and we'll let Chris Roberts explain why.
From Rework, who asks, why did you decide to move away from the asymmetrical design on the Herald? I mean, essentially, we showed the design, and Jim Martin, who is the guy that designed the Herald and also designed the Cutlass and designed the Freelancer, sort of was playing around with some more ideas, and so it's kind of I sort of preferred one of the later ones. I mean, it's I think to a certain extent slightly asymmetrical. It's not fully asymmetrical, but it's not as asymmetrical as the original one was. But the idea is it sort of can blossom out into this sort of kind of like I guess transmission array, which was kind of cool. And then in between it looks a bit sleeker and a little bit faster. To a certain extent, I sort of felt like it was a visually more interesting and appealed to me. And if I had seen that sooner, then we probably wouldn't have shown the other asymmetrical design. So it's me. It's my fault. Sorry. Okay, next question comes from...
Now, at the same time, we had also heard that the Herald was going to be one of the next flyable ships, along with the Merlin, or the P-52 Merlin. But unfortunately, where the Merlin moved forward, the Herald did not, because the Herald was in the UK at the time, and also the Cutlass Rework was also in the UK at the time. And the preliminary art images that we were... that some of which had slipped out, but not all of them. We would later find out on November the 13th that, the Cutlass, along with the Herald, were coming back stateside to basically when they reorganized the studios and said, this studio is going to be doing Drake, this studio is going to be doing Aegis, so on and so forth, to kind of, I guess, speed up the process and streamline the ship creation pipeline. Now, unfortunately, the Herald was still going to end up waiting for a while because Josh Coons was still working on the Connie with Chris Smith, so that had to get out of the way before Josh Coons could finally start on the Herald. But after this, of course, now we're finally going to see the Cutlass rework. So overall, the ship has had a bit of a troubled history. It's stumbled a few times along the way, but now in 2.6 we will finally see the Herald flyable. Now, as to what functionality we're going to get from the hacking booths that we heard from, we still don't have any details on that. So as to what you can do with your Herald beyond flying it around and checking it out, we don't know yet, but hopefully we'll find out those details soon, hopefully by CitizenCon. So that's it for this week. Some updates on some Connie variants and the Cutlass rework, and of course the Herald, and a little bit of a history lesson on the Herald. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Quantum travel initiated.